Okay. Hey, everybody on Facebook. So happy to be here for the second episode of Minklife Motivation Live. I'm Monica Henderson and super excited. Time to get into the show. Let's get started. So again, welcome to Minklife Motivation Live. My name is Monica Henderson, and this is where you can get motivated every week. You can stay inspired by inspirational talks. You can keep networking with awesome individuals who are going to help you with your business. And also, we're going to share some knowledge every week right here on Facebook so that you can live a life that is designed by you for you. Super excited. So what I want you to know is every week we're going to help you get healthy, wealthy, and fulfilled. And I will be here as your host. And I am a business trainer and strategist and an author, and really just kind of here to be your guide in this journey. So this week, I would love to introduce you to our motivators, a part of the Minklife Motivation community. And our first person is Jendai Stafford, who is an author and a licensed marriage and family therapist, but also the owner of an amazing wellness business that she's going to share a little bit with you today. And we also have today, as part of our Minklife Motivation community, is Andrea Gewirtz, and she is a Thrive strategist with well-being and worth, and also a Minklife Motivation Life Calibrator licensed trainer. And last but not least, we have Marcia McCrae. And Marcia McCrae is a principal author and artist of the Brand Naked Agency. So she's going to be bringing us that brand style today. And super excited to get into everything that we have for you today. But I want to remind you of the theme of the month. So this month, we are really focused on kind of a theme, and that is coming from our Power of Six from Minklife Motivation, and it's your 6 basic rights. So one of the basic rights is that you have the right to own your own life, and that is where we kind of have derived all of our theming for this month. Today, we're focused on your business, and as we talk about your business, we want to talk about this week building a business by taking ownership of your own life. And so everything that we talk about today will really kind of be about that because as you know, we are not just business owners, but we are people too. And sometimes that can drive our entrepreneurial journey. And so today's motivational quote is, or the quote for the week is, everything is possible. The impossible just takes longer, and that's by Dan Brown. And I love this. This is because it's one of the things that I talk about quite frequently myself with people who I train, and that is that, you know, literally everything is possible in time. And so when we talk about what your motivation is and getting you motivated to do what you need to do, sometimes we think that there are things that are impossible for us to achieve. And I really want you to understand that everything, I mean everything, is possible when you have time, perspective, and support. And that's one of the major themes that we have in Minklife Motivation as a community. We really believe that if you have time, perspective, and support, anything can be achieved. And so I want to bring in our motivators to the conversation. And I want to ask you as an audience to also participate. So feel free to drop in the chat what you think or how you feel about this question, which is, what are you trying to achieve that seems impossible in your business? And so bringing in all 3 of our motivators for this week, I would love for you guys to share. What do you personally what are you trying to achieve in your business that kind of seems impossible? And let's start with Andrea. What about you? What
I
are
knew
your
I had to go first. I was like, oh, I hope it's not me. And and though I was like,
You're always, I always put you next to me in the boxes. So
yeah, I know. So when I saw the question, just to, like, right before we got on the air, showing my latest roots, I was like, what am I trying to achieve that seems impossible? And though I don't believe it's impossible, I think as a monolith, the shift change that I want to my impact out in the world is like having people claim their agency. I mean, like it's a very mink life thing too, but I really want people to claim the agency that goes with health. And so having people own their health, um, in a place in a society where somebody else is responsible for your health, I don't know where that mindset came from, has really motivated me to do my business. And so the self agency that goes on with taking your own bootstraps and making decisions about your health is what I know is possible. But shifting the hegemony, like, of a mindset of a culture that doesn't value that, that's where I sometimes knock my head like, am I crazy? So so that's the what I would say. But I don't
okay.
believe in the word impossible. So it's a double-edged thing. I know everything is possible. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it sometimes is, I'm climbing up the mountain.
Marcia, what about you? What is your what are your thoughts?
I think, like Andrea, I don't believe in possible. I don't believe in that word. However, it feels like a daunting task of trying to get things, I guess, more running by themselves. Like,
Yeah.
systems, getting the systems and processes in place, and so that I can leave the business. That's,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to do, and have other people manage and everything. But having those systems in place, I think that, and just having them organized, so that's pretty much, that's like the daunting part for me. I don't have a problem with helping people to discover and, use their voices, but it's just that underlying part, because there's so many not missing, but so many gears that have to happen kind of simultaneously almost, so.
Yeah. Jindai, what about you?
I'm the same. Like, I don't like that word impossible. I don't think things are impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, as far as my company goes, so because I have such a specialized program that I use, my impossible, if you will, or just the thing that will take me the longest to get to, is to train people to do what it is that I do, so that they can provide the same services and the same quality of services that I provide. So it's not, for me, it's not just about having, oh, there's like 15, 20 different people that can do what I do. I want them to provide the same quality as if I were the one doing it. Because like Marcia, you have to have an exit plan. Like, this is not going to be forever. Entrepreneurship should not be a lifelong, thing. Like, you should create it and get it started so that you can pass it on to your family members or your kids, or, sell it, or whatever the case may be. Like, make it this globally known trademark thing. I'm sure the original owners of Coca-Cola are not still, they're still reaping the benefits, of course, but they're not still there running the company, and
Right.
they did McDonald's chains and things like that. Like, they're not still, the owner of McDonald's, the starter of it, the founder of it, is not still over there trying to do it, but he wanted to make sure that there was quality. So no matter where you go, worldwide, even, because McDonald's is worldwide, no matter where you go, it's the same quality. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I think for myself, the impossible that I'm trying to achieve, I guess, is to actually change the world, right? To not just use my business to make money and to kind of create a financial legacy for my child, but to actually change the world. So I'm leaving a better world for my child. I think that's the impossible. And I know in our conversations with all of you that is also kind of like the beating heart behind what you do. But I think a lot of times when we're all looking at the news and we're watching the world go to hell in a handbasket as they tell it on the news. There are days where that does feel super impossible, right? It's like, oh my God, I'm like David against Goliath here, right? The bad forces in the world seem to be winning versus the good ones. And so I think the impossible that I'm trying to achieve is really kind of actually empowering the world to be a better place from my own skill set. And I agree with all of you in that I don't agree with the word impossible, right? But I'm almost fueled by the word impossible, because if someone tells me that's impossible, I'm like, hold my glass of wine, because I don't drink beer. So hold my glass of wine. Let me show you how it's done, and I'm gonna do it and be cute at the same time. So I think for me, that is kind of my impossible journey. Did any of you guys have any like what are your thoughts on each other's impossible journeys? Like,
I think from what you said, I mean, having worked with all of you a little bit, right? And hearing it back, and like, I'm taking notes every time I look over. I'm taking notes just to further my remembrances of things that are said about each other and our businesses. And the thing that sticks out is, one, we all know that we're doing these businesses because, well, there's something passionate. We're passionate about leaving a better legacy, or, making systems that work. And then I loved and died going straight to it. Like, I want to leave this, and we all probably won't sit around and be like, oh, now I'm retired. We'll just probably go do something else. We're just like, okay, let's run and go do this one. And I know if I know Monica, she'll be like, so like, what do we feel like doing? Shouldn't we like go fix something else? And so I love that we all like to fix. I love that we all like to make better. I think that really stuck out for me. And I know I'm doing it with you guys, so it's all cool.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
I mean, I know, as for myself, I am a fixer. You're absolutely right. But I know that all of you who are on this call are fixers too. For those of you who are watching live, we have spent some time together this weekend, but periodically we have spent different times together, whether we're working on each other's businesses or, like Andrea is my wellness coach, and Marcia is also my branding coach, and Jendai and I have just kind of recently connected through the global conference, and I'm trying to figure out how we can support her in her business as well. And so we did some training this weekend so that we could share that. And so for those of you who are like, wait a minute, like, this is not just your average batch of people that they stuck together. No, it's not. This is a powerhouse group here. But what I wanted to say is that in what I know about each of the women who are on this right now, right? They're fixers. And this is the best girl group to kind of be a part of, because if there's a deficit, one of the other ones will be like, girl, okay, so this is what's going on. You got to fix it, but let me help you, right? Let me help you fix it. I got your back. I can't have you go out and look crazy. I'm going to help you fix it. And that little piece of having a group like this, right? Who truly have your back and who are fixers is really kind of dynamic. So I just wanted to kind of let everybody in on a little secret that, like, if you ain't a part of this posse right here, and men accepted as well. Like, this is not just for girls, right? This is for anybody who's interested in kind of really being a part of a group who is super supportive. These people on this call right now are definitely people you want to have on your side. So with that, I wanted to give an opportunity for us to kind of be inspired. And inspiration really comes from understanding someone else. Most of the time, people think that being in business is all about having this solo experience, right? And like, I'm going to get in business and I'm just going to do it. And we don't realize sometimes when we get down in the dumps or when things aren't going well in our business, that everybody else who's going in business, they actually are going through their own struggles, their own journeys, and their own kind of things that they have to work through in order to get to that point. And we only hear the success stories, right? We always hear like it was an overnight success, right? And we never hear about the actual drama that it took for someone to go from being wherever they were to wherever they're trying to go. And so it was important to me, especially when we were creating this show, to make sure that we had highlighted the backside of entrepreneurship, right? And like what some people's journeys were to get here. And so this section is all about that. And I wanted Jindai to come on today to share about, each of us have kind of gotten here through by finding our purpose, and then we found a business. And so I would love for her to actually be our inspirational story today and share her journey of how she became, she found her wellness business through her own personal drug struggles and her own personal journey. And when I first heard it, I was super inspired. And so I'm so excited to give her the opportunity to share her story as well. So Jindai, if you don't mind, just kind of sharing a bit about like how you not only just kind of came into your own in this business that you have, but how you really kind of created a space for others to kind of share in some of the successes that you found for yourself and your business.
Yeah, so my story starts in the military. I was in the Navy for 6 years, and then I was medically retired. So at the time of being medically retired, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, Raynaud's disease, insomnia, PTSD, panic attacks, and anxiety. So by the time I got out of the Navy, I was on like 10 different medication. And the first year being out is really kind of a blur, just because I was not, obviously there's like this medication fog going on. And so I was like, okay, well, I really have to do something different, because I don't like, I put on a ton of weight because I was taking prednisone, which is steroid. And so the other thing was oxycodone. So there were like some heavy narcotics going on. And so I was taking all of this medication to help with the pain and swelling. I was wheelchair bound for a period of time. I was walking with crutches, and it was just, it was a terrible experience. And so I was like, something has to give, because I had 2 young kids at the time. I was like, I cannot function in life for the rest of my life like this. And so a few years later, I was pregnant with my son, and that gave me the perfect opportunity, and throughout that time, there was probably I got medically retired in 2014. I found out I was pregnant in 2016. So in that time period, I was still going to school. I was starting to research a lot of things, because I was like, something has got to give. And so when I was pregnant with my son, that was the perfect time for me to get off of everything, because, the doctors are like, oh, well, it shouldn't have an adverse effect. And I'm like, well, you show me the studies that have been done on pregnant women, then I'll trust you. Obviously, there are none, because they really don't know. So I stopped everything. I stopped all the medication I was taking. And I was like, okay, now it's really time to dig in and figure out what's going on, so I'm not swelling. My legs were huge in comparison to what they were supposed to look like. My hands were starting to twist and look all funny. I was getting a lot of deterioration in my joints. I have lesions in my spine just from the work I did in the military. And so that was starting, I know. Marcia's face is like, it was terrible. I was really beat up, banged up. They say the military will take you, use you, and then kick you out. And so I don't get it wrong. I absolutely loved what I did in the military. I was aviation ordnanceman, loaded weapons, bombs, missiles, torpedoes, 50 cal. That was I loved it. Would have done 20 full years if I could have. But I was like, okay, so now I really need to do something. And so it was literally, this was the starting point for what I do today. And so I literally did research, studies, certifications, and things like that. And I healed myself naturally. And so today I stand before you guys medication free. And so when I have gone to the doctor, I know snap for it. People look at me and they're like, what? I went to the doctor recently and they're like, oh, there's like no real further deterioration. Like there's no real swelling. And then I tell people this story and they're like, well, how did you do that? And I'm like, excellent. Let me tell you, my friends, let me tell you. So as a therapist, and, so I have a master's degree in organizational leadership, psychology with an emphasis in marriage and family therapy. I have a master's in developmental psychology, and I'm working on my dissertation for my PhD in developmental psychology. I have a certification as a pharmacy technician. I'm a certified integrative nutrition health coach. Like the list really just goes on and on and on. And so working with my clients in therapy, I was really starting to notice a brain-gut connection. There were dietary things, and there were other things that were leading to some of the mental health symptoms that they were having. Unfortunately, because I was there as the therapist, that's all I could do. I couldn't tell them, hey, your kid who's over here bouncing off the walls with the ADHD, you can really, help alleviate some of that hyperactivity by removing red dyes out of their diet, by removing the refined sugar, by adding certain things to their diet. And it's not something that your child is going to be like, ew, gross. No, I'm not saying like shove vegetables down their throat, but there's just certain little tweaks that you could do. And so I couldn't tell them that because I was bound by the rules and regulations of therapy. And so I ended up creating something that used nutrition and physical health, mental health, spiritual health. I'm a licensed minister as well. And so I took all of these parts that are independent, like in our existence, if you will. And I noticed they were working interdependently. So it's like a clock. I always tell people the gears of a clock, they work together. Like they're separate parts, but they have to work together. Where you adjust one, there's a minor adjustment that has to happen to the other. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up creating holistic whole body care coaching, and I trademarked it. So it's only found at my company, Mission Counseling and Consulting. And so it allowed me to take a real holistic approach to client care, like just patient care as a whole. And the results have been, life-changing, to say the least. Literally life-changing. Individuals have had panel work done. So I have a 90-day program that falls in that. They've had blood panels done. Their blood work came back beautiful. Cholesterol is down. They've dropped 2 sizes, off blood pressure medications. There's all kinds of things. And this is all tailored to the program. But this is all something that started because of my own journey, because it was something that I needed. And when I saw that it was working for me, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like, how come you're not this? Oh, you must be getting better because you're not on, you don't walk with a cane anymore. And I'm like, no, the autoimmune disease is still there, like with COVID right now, I'm in that high risk category. However, I know what I need to do to keep myself and my body running optimally. So these are the things that I teach my clients now. And so I just encourage people in business, or if you're even thinking about it, you're like, I don't want to be stuck at a 9-to-5 because we don't know what's going to happen in the fall with everything vamping back up. And you're like, I have an idea, but I don't know how to execute it. Like, or even if you're that person that says, I don't have an idea, you probably do. Like, I would say search inward first. Like, there is something that you have done that somebody else is looking for. And so when I'm telling people about the coaching, I'm like, I can save you years of searching, years of research, years of education, okay, money that comes along with thousands of dollars. I can save you this by, introducing you to the coaching program, which I already have. So, I just want to encourage you guys and inspire you guys that look inward first. There is something that you have that God gave you that's specific to you, and somebody is looking. Somebody is out there looking for it. And so I just want you guys to be inspired that it's not the end all be all just because careers switch and things like that. Like, you have it in you.
Absolutely. I 1,000% agree with that every person has what it takes for them to be successful in whatever capacity that they're trying to put it out there in the world. But a lot of the times we've been told that there are a lot of hoops that you have to jump through in order to get that. And what I have found in my own journey, especially in talking to like amazing women like Jandai, right, is that you sometimes experience gives you just enough understanding for you to do the research to take you to the next level, right? And surrounding yourself with people like Jendai and Andrea and Marcia, who have went to school for all of the years to get the information and have went out and sought out the information, and having yourself be in a room full of smart people can actually be just as powerful as you going to the school and getting all of the things yourself. So that was phenomenal. There's even more parts to the story that I didn't even know ahead of time. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I just wanted to bring Andrea and Marcia back. What did you guys have any comments about Jendai's story? What did you think? Did you have something to add, share, co-sign with?
You know, Jendai, I really take my hat off to you. I mean, my God, I was like, God, is there anything this woman does not do? First of all, you're like, listen to all this stuff. And then just taking charge, you taking charge of your health and knowing that that's what would help you to actually succeed and grow and prosper, I guess, in throughout the different other phases of your life, because just like you have healthy, wealthy, and fulfilled, or wealthy, healthy. It's healthy, wealthy.
Yeah,
Healthy,
right.
wealthy.
Oh, okay. So, you know, you guys, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to blow steam up anybody's butts or anything, but you know, I no, really, honestly. So seriously, with Minklife Motivation and Andrea Gewirtz's Well-Being and Worth, those two programs have really changed my life completely, because I was on the road of almost disaster. You know, I probably would have given up on my business. And I would have, well, I probably wouldn't have given up, but I would have been just trailing through, just trudging, dreading things, you know. But the thing is, with that principles program, that helped me to see so many different blind spots in my life and my business. And then Andrea's, her rejuvenation cleanse, that totally helped me to realize, hey, I do need a body. Hello. And I'm not, you know, I can't keep moving without a body. I'd be dead. No, seriously, because I had so many, I was not on any medication. However, I'm sure I was almost getting ready to go there, you know, because my health was like deteriorating. You know, when you hit 50, it kind of goes to a different arena if you don't take care of yourself. Yeah.
You leveled up to a different level of care.
Yep. So those entrepreneurs and solopreneurs that are out there, it's so imperative that you take care of all aspects of yourself, and that you don't work yourself to like an oblivion to a, you know, that I had a problem. I didn't have a life pretty much outside my business, you know, and, you know, by the time the day was over, I was like so exhausted, you know, that I wouldn't get to do the things that I wanted to do. Whereas the principles program helped me to schedule those things in, you know, and Andrea's eating. So, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's all I have to say.
The part about like what we do at Minklife Motivation is our program is not just about come to us and that's it, right? We incorporate great, amazing people like Jendai as a part of our service. So in looking at when we go through the trainings and you're going through and you're kind of sussing out what it is that you want, and then you have an amazing person who understands holistically what you need to do as a coach in Jendai, and we're partnering to be your support system. It really does kind of take you to the next level. That was not supposed to be a commercial, Marcia.
It really wasn't. It wasn't at a commercial, but I'm just telling you, that's what changed my life. And as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, seriously, that health, you guys, you're not going to get so far. You're going to get but so far without your health, and without being, you know, like not balanced, but harmonized, your business and your regular life, your personal life. So that's major. No
I,
commercial,
did it.
everybody.
well, thank you, Marcia. But it's nice that you, well, I think it's both you and Jendai saying what you said about, claiming your health. Like I said before, like getting folks, y'all excite me just because you claimed your health and you're winning. Like it's proof. Like health and wealth go together, but if you
Yes.
ain't got your health,
Yep.
you will never get the wealth. And more
story.
importantly, it's your only intrinsic wealth is the state of your health. So
That's right.
Jendai, your story about taking the ownership from autoimmune diseases macro level is just astonishing. And I can't wait. We get to talk tomorrow. So I'm going to be like all in there. Because my mother, it's funny when you hear your lessons and when you play back the tape and you go, I heard that somewhere. So I grew up with family issues, and in particular, my mother suffered from a very bad autoimmune disease known as lupus. And so, and she was diagnosed at a time where nobody knew nothing. I remember sitting once at Johns Hopkins University Hospital, and my mother had been on the grand rounds because nobody knew what was wrong with her. Because this is, 40 years ago, and they're like, what do we have here? And there'd be doctors in the morning rounds every day, and we would visit. And at one point, I looked at this group of 10 and said, I know. And I trust and believe I was 8 years old. And I was like, so you guys are supposed to be the fancy hospital that knows everything, and you still don't know what's wrong with my mother. I was so saucy as a little kid. I have not stopped. But it was really something when they finally got the diagnosis, and then they're like, well, what do we do? And then the years of like trial and error and experimentation. And the one thing they didn't experiment with was freaking food, which, is my great pet peeve. But I say all that because my mother once said to me, as she's going through, I don't know what tribulation of a flare up it was, numbers are incalculable at that time, since then. And basically she's like, Andrea, you are so busy. I just hope you manage your health. I'm like, oh, Mom, I got time for that. And those words really, yeah, they have come back to, they were there. So they were there for me to like really hear. And so I applaud Jendai for doing it and then taking it back out to the world. And it goes to that thing, like what personal journey has shaped you. And I love that you said to people so beautifully, like something you've done can help somebody else. And I'm a true believer in that concept too, is that we have to share with each other so we can know what works. And that's the beauty of the Minklife community and that support, the time, patience, and support. Is that it? Time, patience, and support? Are those that are?
Yes.
We need to have it with ourselves, each other, and of course our journey. So I think that you were the perfect spotlight for all of that, Jendai. And I'm so glad you're staying in the tank with all of us.
I think you like embodied like your own personal journey and owning your own life in creation of business. And I truly believe that if everyone gets to do a job that they're passionate about, we could easily make the world a better place, right?
Yeah.
And you being passionate about health and sharing that with other people means that they're automatically in better hands by being in your hands versus someone who may have chosen that profession because it looked good for their parents, or it looked good, for how much money they were going to make. And so if we can change kind of how people are choosing to go into these different professions, and they're getting there and they're passionate about what they do and they show up every day because they really want to give, I think we can change easily just the culture alone by that. So thank you so much for being pure and open with your story with us, and kind of showing us the background to all this phenomenalness that exists right here in front.
Thank you.
I can't wait to continue our relationship, right? And the relationship with the rest of the Minklife Motivators, and see what else we can collaborate on and kind of keep pushing forward. So thank you so much for your help in kind of helping us push that forward. So one of the things that's super important for all of us in our businesses is that we keep networking, right? And right now it's so difficult to keep networking. And so one of the things that I wanted to kind of start a question with all of you is, did you start your business because of pain or because of vision? And we kind of know that clearly Jendai started hers because of a pain that she had. But I wanted to kind of pull Marcia and Andrea in on that conversation. And then the next question, which is not up here, is if you started with pain, then who did you reach out to help you kind of pull yourself out of that pain point and into your business, right? So first question is, did you start your business with pain or a vision? And then once you started your business, who did you connect with to help pull you to that next phase in your business?
Mhm.
So we're going to have both Marcia and Andrea contribute to that particular conversation. So tell me, who wants to go first? Who wants to share?
Marcia gets to go first.
Oh, I was going to say Andrea wants to go. Yeah, but okay. So you know what, you guys, it was a combination of pain and vision. Okay.
Okay.
So you get tired of being laid off because of people's, their budgets or whatever, which, 9/11 happened at that time. And so I got laid off from a small design firm. And then I went to another organization and I was there for 5 years. And I felt like, oh, I feel stifled. I felt literally stifled. And I was like, and then I started getting like clients that were like having me do freelance stuff. And so because it got busy, it started getting busier. I was like, oh, okay. I think it's time to branch out. I really felt led to do that, just launch out in it. So I guess the thing is, and I didn't like to wait. I thought about every place that I've worked at, and I didn't like maybe some of the places, the way they treated their employees or their team. It was more like, you do this because I said so, or, or they didn't invest in people. I don't look at people as a liability. I look at them as an investment, because even if I may not see the fruit of them, actually, I guess growing up, or like growing up, not really literally, but, like, or actually, moving forward, at least somebody else will. And see, that's the thing of, them coming from one point in their lives to this like awesome maturation to where they have, like are able to bless other people, so many people with intentionality. So I think who got me out of it? Honestly, God, I'm going to tell you. I mean, that's who I did. I mean, I'm just point blank. And then he put people in my life that advanced me along, that helped me along every stage of the way. And so, yeah, but that's, I think, just, and thinking back at all of the companies that I worked for, right? It was only like 4, but the different companies that I worked for, I see, what to do and what not to do. You know what I mean? The best parts, and so
you take the best and toss the worst,
yep,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
And how I don't want people to feel in working in my company. So but
yeah. Andrea, what about you?
I think for me, it was a combination of pain and vision that was unrealized, sort of to Jendai's point. Pain, yeah. I mean, pain always prompts you to do different, hopefully take positive action. So the pain was for me, I had to redefine myself. Initially, it was like a whole thing of definition, and I like, what do I know how to do outside of audio engineering? And I at first was like, I don't know. And then I realized, because I had been dealing with profound food allergy in my life, and I was the go-to gal for people and their food allergy things. Like, you know, I was the group mom. Oh, call Andrea. If your kid's got eczema, she's going to have a reason for you to figure it out, you know, or, oh, your kid's got a runny nose, call Andrea. She's going to tell you it's probably dairy or wheat, you know, and they're like, what, are you sure? Or I'd see someone and is like an allergic kid and going, what is that? And then watching the mother feed them the poison and go, and do I say something, you know? So, because I had my own kids who couldn't eat anything, and having to be chemist. I was a background chemist because we had so many food allergies initially when they were brought here onto planet Earth that I was like, oh yeah, but everybody knows that. And to Jen Dye's point, no, not everybody does know that. And when I started to read the tea leaves of what was happening organically, I go, oh, maybe this could be a thing, right? And so the transition from an employee to an entrepreneur was an interesting journey of discovery and education and, you know, can I, should I, would I? And then the people appeared when I started asking the questions necessary to fulfill the thing that I was lacking. And I think always staying curious. So I'm here today because I was curious about a lot of things and I had a lot of problems solved for my own family. And then I was curious for my own health. So that was another story to add to that palette of things that I could solve. And as an engineer, I like to solve things. So that was easy. It's like, oh, okay. So I like to solve things. And I started looking for what would be the right fit. And then what would make me that agent of change that would help other people. And then the vision was I can help people, but then it had to turn into a business vision. And then other people came in to help shape those things. Minklife came and took a lot of things swirling around in my head, and just getting them committed to paper was really good and executable. And so, yeah, pain and vision always propel you forward if you're reading. If you're reading the tea leaves of like, oh, I could help somebody with this. And always, like I say to my networking people that I mentor and coach, is that you have this business. What problem do you solve? Like every day, it's like, what problem do you solve? Because if you can motivate yourself and the people around you to remember you solve a problem, you have a business. And both Monica and Jendai talked about, what are you passionate about? Because I have a kid about to go to college now. 17 years of food allergy. I'm here. I'm alive. Okay, I can talk about that. and she's like struggling with what am I going to do? What am I going to be? And I'm like, what do you love? You're going to get 4 more years of nurturing, and I want you to feed your mind the things that you are interested in, because then you can go out and, to Marcia's point, be an asset to somebody and learn as you go. And earn as you do the thing you love that you would have done anyway if no one paid you. And or you create the solution and people pay you because they need your solution. Like everything we consume is a solution. So I just love that we can help people tease that out. I love that all of you have talked about that. And it really sits with me, like always positing from what's the solution? What's the solution? What's the solution? So that was my journey, and it's always evolving because I'm like, what else can I solve? So I create a new product. So there you have it. Like
fixer.
Yeah, fixer on steroids. There you go. No pun intended. Steroids are horrible, horrible, horrible.
Jendai, so we know yours did come from pain and, you know, like as a catalyst, but who did you connect with along the way that really helped you pull even further out that vision that kind of came from that pain?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, my case was very similar to Andrea's mom, where, you know, they're passing my file around Madigan Hospital, which is a huge Air Force, it's Army Air Force base. And it was a huge hospital, and people are like, I don't know what this is. And it's interesting because still, even to this day, they're like, oh, well, it has rheumatological factors, and we think it falls more along the lines of this, but we're still not sure. So doctors were not my first help, which is who I went to. Obviously, initially, I'm thinking, oh, well, I got this condition. And so the doctors, they're going to have the answer. And they're looking at me like, you know, scratching my head. I don't know, right? And so I was like, oh, okay. And so then I mean, it was literally, I mean, like Marcia has said, it's God-given, because I really, at that point, I didn't know where to go. And so just research. And interestingly enough, as I'm doing research on essential oils, there was a little girl in my youngest daughter's class, and her mom just happened to use essential oils. And so she invited me to this like little class that she was doing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Like, and so I think, you know, God showed me a direction in which to go, and then brought the people along the line. So it just meshed really well. And it continues to be like that. Like, it continues to bring people and to show me new things and to reveal new things. I mean, I've started, you know, studying, I've studied essential oils. I've studied the diet. I've studied brain-gut connection. I've studied herbs, like herbalism, how to use natural plants and roots and teas and things like that to help with, I mean, everything that we need to heal our body is already here on the earth. Like, it really literally is. I know that sounds like such a cliche, but it really, yes.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
I mean, you know, not to go to church on that, but hello, before there were pills, there were roots, herbs, slugs, whatever. I mean, there were things that people dried, desiccated, drank, ate, you know.
Absolutely.
And their populations and communities thrived. They didn't just wither and die because, oh, here comes the bacteria.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I tell people, you know, especially in my coaching, I say, you know, it's so ironic that we as a society have been taught that certain things are weeds and they're not good. And I said, how ironic is it that the one thing that can actually, it has anti-cancer properties, which is dandelions, is the one thing, like, so people use that as a weed. And it's funny. It's not funny. I didn't mean funny, but like, it's interesting and ironic. Because Roundup is causing cancer, and Roundup is the thing that's used to help kill these dandelions, and it's like, you don't understand that you just gave yourself this toxin trying to get rid of the thing that can now help you fight this. And so that's just
yeah,
like herb school. Oh
yeah.
I see. You see already the connections are happening. Herb school's coming down the pipe, guys. Look for it. It's coming.
Native food. You heard
Native
it first.
foods class is coming.
Yes.
You know, and so they've been primed to drink dandelion tea, these women. So they're like, oh,
good.
You've heard about that.
Yeah.
Good.
Dandelion is good. I have it sitting at the house now. I do.
It's good.
Like dandelion tea, ashwagandha. I mean, the whole
works.
Yeah.
So
what I wanted to kind of chime in on is each of you said something that I think is really kind of key, and I want to pull it out of the ethers in the conversation that we're having right now, which is that the universe seems to support you once you're in alignment with your actual vision, right? And so in my own life, I've seen that happen, right? Where all of a sudden, when I needed something, it just magically, the person who was the gatekeeper to that appeared when I was doing what I was supposed to do, right? When I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, then all of a sudden it was an uphill battle. It was hard. I couldn't find anybody. I would be asking questions. I would hit a bunch of doors. And so I think the kind of moral of this networking story here is that when you are in alignment with your actual vision, whether you found that purpose through vision or pain, once you get aligned with what that is, then essentially all the people tend to appear when they need to appear. And, you know, some may call it the universe, they may call it God, however it is, but the universe does seem to align for you so that you can actually walk the path that you're supposed to walk. And so I have this mantra that I say all the time, and I am a woman of faith, and I say, God, blast open the doors that I'm meant to walk through, and slam shut those doors that I'm meant to avoid, because I am too dumb to know the difference. I don't proclaim to always know the right way to go for myself. And I don't know that any other woman on this call would say, oh yeah, I always know when I'm supposed to go the right direction. But sometimes what happens is we need a little bit of extra guidance, right? And sometimes that's a soul journey that you need to kind of go through. Sometimes that is an actual kind of like stopping for a second and reassessing of what it is that you're doing and is it in alignment with your purpose. But nevertheless, continuing to connect with people and saying out loud, I need this help, in looking and seeking out for people to help you in the areas in which you have a deficit is a really part of a journey of the entrepreneurial experience. And so if nothing else, I hope you got that much from this connected conversation with my Minklife Motivators, because they are amazing in how they put everything. I just want y'all to know that I am crushing on my own team. Okay, so the next question that I have is, what are you doing to lead by example in your business, right? How are you showing up in your business to lead by example? And we will start with Jendai this time, because she didn't get to start first in this section. So what are you doing to lead by example in your business?
For me, I pride myself on this very much so, but I am literally a walking, talking, breathing billboard for what it is that I do. It's not just saying, oh, I can help you, alleviate pain and things that you have going on that are accompanied with an autoimmune disorder or with, any other inflammation that goes on throughout the body. Like, I'm literally the example. I mean, I went from being in a wheelchair and couldn't even get up, stand up. I couldn't do anything to now, I mean, I've gone outside, playing volleyball, playing badminton, and I am super competitive. I know we talked about this before. Like, I am the one who's like, I don't care if my daughter's 10, she better come up, show up or go home,
You better bring it.
Yes, bring your A game. No, I'm not going soft on you because you're 10. Like, you better bring it. And so, like, to be able to have that super competitiveness still come out physically is great. Another thing is, again, like, it's all like, I am the brand. Like, it is me. Like, I show up and I am there. And a lot of the time, like, so people always ask me, they're like, oh my gosh, how do you have the energy to do this, that, and the third? And I tell them, there's holistic practices, there's things that you can do. And then, especially because rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia come with extreme fatigue. And so I really, like, there are times when I can tell, oh, I haven't been eating right, or, oh, I need to make sure that I'm doing this, that, and the third, because I feel it really coming down on me. But I mean, I am my brand. I mean, I live it daily. And, I am the proof that I live what I teach in my programs.
Yeah, that is definitely a way to lead by example. And I hope other business owners are drinking their own Kool-Aid in the same way. Andrea, what about you? Or actually, it's Marcia's turn. Sorry.
I would say, yeah, like Jendai, I actually have to live it in order to teach it or share it. I have to at least experience it, and so what I do, I use a lot of my tools that I help my clients with. I use them for myself, in my business. So that makes it a little bit more like, I don't know, it just makes you more authentic when you know and experience something for yourself and then you're sharing it, as opposed to like all this book knowledge and everything and you haven't gone through anything, So that, that's.
Yeah, Andrea.
I'm gonna echo everything that they both just said. I mean, I created my various programs based on knowledge, and then I asked some nice people, hey, you want to try something out? And then they had great success. I'm like, oh, it's working. So I mean, I knew that it would work, but I also at the same time, there's nothing more satisfying than taking something from your head, something you've learned, and then seeing it actually go out, and then having the feedback, positive, like we always say, rude remark, whatever. It's all feedback to me, and I can judge and make it bad or good. But I love feedback. Feedback is so important. So I think leading by that example and offering others to do the same, I is where. That's how I try to model like that excellence. It's like, show up where you are today. And that's where I start every day, is from today. And I say to you, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to go through your things. And even though I'm facilitating this course for you, or I'm facilitating this as your coach, know that I'm working through it every day, like fighting the sugar campaign, doing this, getting people over drink your dandelion tea and your licorice root, like, getting people to like these things that 100 years ago probably our grandmothers would have given us. Like, I make up stories. I do paint stories a lot to show that this isn't a weird concept. This is really just a revisiting, people love that word, of of something in the past. So I definitely I encourage and mentor and tell the stories based on my truth, and then hope and say, I invite you to try it. It doesn't work out, we'll try something else. And allowing people to go, that one didn't work so great, this one works better. So that's, I guess, my example story, is giving people the grace to know that it's a two-way street and that they have to try before we can decide one way or the other.
Yeah, one of the things that I do personally is I try never to ask someone to do something that I haven't done myself. And I also lead by example of failing publicly. So in my business, right, I can be wrong. And I can not make the right decision, and I can make mistakes, just like everybody else who is on my team, who I'm expecting work from, who I'm expecting things from. And so I try to model that it's okay to make mistakes, right? Or it's okay to fail. And the faster we fail and learn from it, the faster we make progress, because no success can be done without failure, right? There's not a such. Ask one of the billionaires, any billionaire on this planet right now, and ask them, hey, did you lose any money while you were making these billions, right? Did you make a detrimental mistake before you got to this point? And every last one of them will tell you that you can't get to success without failure. That is what they will, like, in unison, in stereo, will say. Yes, you have to fail. And so for me, in leading in my own business, I fail out loud, right? I fail publicly. I try things publicly, and I tell everybody where I am from that space of like, look, hey, I am trying just like everyone else. But what happens when you fail publicly, right? When you fail in front of people, while you say, that was, I messed up, right? Or I didn't give you enough information for you to be successful, or whatever it is, and taking ownership of whatever your part of the failure is as a leader in my own business, I find that one, it releases me from any guilt, right? It allows me to walk away like I did everything I possibly could, and I owned my own part. And two, it allows someone else to be more forgiving of themselves when they make a mistake. I'm a business development company, right? That's what we do. We are a personal and business development company. And so if we're preaching to everyone that you have to like try things, and things may not work out, and you got to try again, and you got to go back to the drawing board, and there's this whole process of development that has to happen, then I first have to show by example. So that, and I also take my own program every week, literally every week. And I will have people like Andrea who are licensed in my program bring me back to my own program to work through my own issues. So those are two very real ways that I try to share and lead by example, so that I am, one, testing my own product, right? You can't sell something you ain't tested out yourself. But two, also kind of really support others in being open about their experience is by kind of doing those two things. So we are at the end, and I'm so sad because I could go on like this for forever. But I just wanted to share my final thoughts, which is that if you hadn't had any of these experiences that we had, or if you enjoyed these experiences that we had, and you want to connect with each of us, I highly encourage you to connect to this page, because they're all connected to Minklife Motivation in one way or another, whether they're an affiliate or a trainer, or a part of the team like myself, or if you have some thoughts that you kind of want to talk out, and maybe the chat channel was not really the place that you wanted to put that, please feel free to reach out to us. It's an open, honest space for you to be in, and we want to create that. But my final thought is that the courage that it takes to share and be open and authentic with people on this very public way of living now, what we all have to be outside of our homes, but inside of our homes, which is a very different experience. And connecting with people who are intelligent and who have taken the time to learn things, and really kind of people who have been through some things, is really about what it means to be a part of a community. And I want to encourage every person out there, if you are not attached to a community like this one, we are welcoming you into our community as well. But if not us, then connect to someone, because right now more than ever, everyone is feeling a little bit more alone because we aren't connecting in the ways that we did before. And so if Minklife Motivation community is not your style, it's fine. Just find a community to connect with. But if we are your style, we are your get down, definitely connect with us. I wanted to give an opportunity for each of my guests to share what is going on in their world so that you can connect with them. And shortly after this broadcast, we will be dropping the links to whatever they're doing so that you can partake. So Jendai, did you want to share what you got going on? Where can somebody see you next? How can they connect you to the next place? And I'm sorry, because we are 2 minutes over. But go ahead and
there is a series of workshops and conferences that we are getting ready to host starting at the end of this month. So if you are interested, it's all health and wellness based. So just go to jendaiastafford.com and you can find the information there.
Okay, and we will post that link shortly after this cast is over. And Marcia, what do you have going on in your world?
Hi. So, okay, I have a branding workshop that happens every month, and you can visit www.thebrandnakedagency.co/workshops. And that's what I have going on. Yep, that's it. So yeah, that you would be interested in, that you all would be interested in. So to be notified when the next workshop comes.
Okay, we'll talk things with the video. And then Andrea, what do you have going on in your world?
Well, right now I am in the middle of one of my cleanses, so I'm debating when I'm going to start a new one. So I believe it's going to go out at the end of the month, but I'm kind of hedging my bets maybe into September after back to Labor Day. So I don't have like a hardcore website address, just because I'm looking at the calendar going, yeah, people are kind of got too much going on. And actually you and I have a lot going on because we're getting ready for a bunch of trainings. So for those of you who don't know, I'm helping Monica train these principal programs and license people to do more of the same. So we're in big production mode with that. So when I'm not wearing my cleanse hat, I'm, helping structure the language. That's my favorite thing to do, how we're going to bring this out to more and more people. So we're in that kind of nurture mode ourselves. So that's, next week I'm going to have an announcement though. I forgot. Dang it.
It's okay. Those of you who are interested in hearing more about her cleanse, you can go to Wellbeing and Work on Facebook.
On Facebook, that's right.
And on her business page, and you'll be able to see kind of what's been going on in her world in the past. And if you follow it, then you can actually know the updates when she has it. When she has the next one coming up. And then finally, for Minklife Motivation, we always have a lot of things going on. This weekend is our Life Calibrator, but we are no longer taking people for that training. But if you are interested in the business builder, the Business Maximizer Live Intensive, right, that is coming up in the not this weekend, but the following weekend. And the link for that will be in the chat after this afterward as well. And what I want to encourage all of you to do is really kind of, if you are interested in being on this show, or if you are interested in being a part of the Minklife Motivator community and you want other people to help you kind of promote yourself, connect with people, collaborate, just really kind of put yourself out there. We are always looking for amazing, dynamic speakers and people who are just, excuse my language, badasses in their business, so that we can connect them with our clients as well. So if you are interested in any of that, just either drop a link or say I'm in the comments, and we will reach out to you and connect with you, or you can go to minklifemotivation.com to learn more. I want to entice you to come back next Monday, where we will actually be talking about being a strong voice for your brand, right? So next week is all about branding, and we'll probably have Marcia come back and talk a little bit about branding because that's her specialty. And we will also have Irina, who was on last time, as our inspirational story. And she will tell you all about her journey of building a Smart Move 360. So that's next week. I'm so excited. Thank you all for attending our second live. I'm so excited for another one. And we will see you all next week. Have a great week. And remember to activate the vision within. Bye.
Bye.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.